Welcome to my new channel, Shit Hotels in Australia. I'll post this prologue up on my existing channel and then hopefully subscribers can see it and transfer to the new channel. So what's this one about? Well, for a long time I've travelled and I've never found it easy to sleep in hotel rooms because my home is a tiny little shack on the water in a tiny little town in the far south of Tasmania, with no traffic and no neighbours, the only noise being the sound of the sea. So whenever I went to stay in hotels, it was always loud, it was always noisy, and even if the facilities were perhaps sometimes better than my own house, it never really gave me a good night's sleep, and I'd always have to wear earplugs. So why this channel? Well, recently, due to work, I've moved to the far north of Queensland, and I've bought this unit that you can see around me. It's quite well fitted out. In fact, it's probably better than my house, little tiny shack house in Tasmania. It's got this nice lounge room. It's got this nice kitchen with a lot of facilities. It's got a spare bedroom for when guests stay, and basically which is my YouTube podcasting studio. It's got a nice bathroom, combined laundry, separate toilet. One thing I didn't have in Tassie. It's got a nice little outdoor patio where I can have my garden and my pellet fire. And it's got quite a nice double bedroom. And note, beside the bed, on the bedside table, the earplugs. Because one thing that this place doesn't have, even though it's got a beautiful climate, is peace and quiet. From the cashed up bogans in their V8 utes with loud exhausts, to the Whitsunday Transit buses, one of which has just arrived opposite at the bus stop. Every single bus comes through this bus stop every 15 minutes. And the noise from the buses is simply amazing. They're not loud buses, they just happen to be outside my bloody window. And then there's the neighbours. The neighbours who I mentioned, who most give me the need to have the earplugs, the ones who are behind this wall, who for some reason at 4 AM pretty much twice a week decide to have the most vigorous and loudest sexual intercourse, banging the bed up against the wall. Here you'll catch some of the bogans going past right now. No, that's just the bus. And then there's the ubiquitous noise of two types of music, country and western, emanating from the flat below. Now, I can't blame these people. We're living in very close contact, but it is a real change to my experience in my home in the far south of Tasmania. So why shit hotels? Well, because I've recently found that my experience in hotels has slightly changed. Travelling for personal reasons and travelling for work, I found that sometimes I actually get a better night's sleep in the hotel than I do at home. So what sort of hotels do I normally choose? Mainly around the 3 to 4 stars. Some people say I'm a bit of a cheapskate, but I actually quite liked getting value for my money. And I found recently that apart from sometimes being able to get a better night's sleep, that the quality and standard of Australian hotels in comparison to the amount of money that they're charging has gone down significantly. I don't know whether it's the COVID epidemic, I don't know whether it's the cost of living rising, I'm not sure what it is. But let's face it, I've stayed in some pretty shit hotels recently, and so this channel is going to examine hotels of Australia through that sort of lens. Why hotels? Well, everybody does in-flight airplane reviews, But I'm not the sort of person who has enough self-confidence to be able to record myself in front of someone sitting next to me in a seat or in a luxurious business class lounge after my luck. So sit back and relax as we explore some hotels. They're not all going to be shit. In fact, I'm hoping that none of them are shit. But I reckon I'm going to be disappointed. And I've invented a new rating score based upon Jeb Brooks' famous Jeb score, in which case it's a purely subjective score that you'll find out in the first episode. Okay, that's enough for me. I'm going to get a little bit of work done in peace and quiet in between the buses. So, speaking of noisy neighbours, judging by the contents of those garbage bins below, looks like I chose a very good too few nights to be sleeping away in shit hotels.